Here is a Holmes Blizzard fan. Blizzard, the storm that we didn't recently get. This is the Holmes model HAOF87. And I believe HAOF stands for Holmes Air Oscillating Fan. Made in China. It's impedance protected as opposed to thermal protected, which is kind of unusual for something like this. It's rated at 0.5 amps. You know, actually that's extremely unusual for something like this. Usually you have like some older ceiling fans, for example, are impedance protected. You know, situations where the impedance protection will protect the motor against a stall out condition. So if this was, and then maybe this is an interesting test, if this blade was to lock up and stall out, the motor in theory should be able to sit, I don't know what the UL testing time is, but it should be able to sit for an extended period of time in a locked state and not overheat and reach dangerous temperatures. Usually something like this would be thermally protected. In fact, I can't think of any other modern fan like this I've seen which is impedance protected. Is this also, is it UL listed? It's not. It's Intertech listed, ETL, and it says conforms to UL standard 507. It says 86-12A. I don't see anything else as far as a date code on here. That is very intriguing to me. The blade is kind of a cool color. It's like just a little bit sparkly almost. These are still made today. I just checked before the taping of this video. Currently these retail for about $25. This particular unit has a fused plug, so it's got to be of more recent make. I don't know how far back these go, but I think that these have been around for probably somewhere around 2 decades now, more or less. And surprisingly, this actually moves a decent amount of air. And I say surprisingly because Holmes has a rather long-running history of making, quite frankly, just terrible fans. The majority of the Holmes fans that I've used from the last 2 to 3 decades are terrible aerodynamics disasters. Exceptionally loud, move very little air, and the designs just make no sense whatsoever. This one is pretty loud, but at least Holmes got the aerodynamics right, and it seems to move a pretty satisfactory amount of air. So it is a 2-speed model with the oscillations. It's got the carrying handle. It looks like the guard is removable with 3 Phillips screws and then another screw on the bottom there. So it's not the quickest thing to open for cleaning, but it looks like if you can operate a screwdriver, you should be able to open this for cleaning. The cord is seemingly of poor quality. It's extremely stiff and has a memory. Alright, let's plug this thing in. We're going to test with 117.3 the volts. Now 0.1 the volts. We'll begin on the amps and we'll start it up on low. It's not terribly loud, but for a desk fan this size, I think it's a 7-inch model. Yeah, it's about a 7-inch blade. It's certainly loud enough that if you're in a quiet room, an office, a cubicle, etc. Oh my gosh, I could never work in a cubicle. But if you're going to use the fan in an environment like that, this is definitely loud enough to be distracting. That is consuming 0.33 the amps, 22 the watts with a power factor of 0.56. And in terms of airflow, it actually is kind of impressive. I am standing all the way across the room, ouch, hit my head in the light fixture, and I can feel a considerable breeze almost 10 feet away, which is definitely above average in terms of performance when it comes to a fan this size. And so that does, offer somewhat of an excuse for the noise. But there do exist fans that move this air with a lot less noise. You can see it actually pushes out a pretty good amount of air. Alright, let's go to the high. Not a huge difference in performance. It's kind of just more noise than anything else. I feel a little bit more air, but it's not a huge difference. Actually, I have to say, it really is kind of surprising how much air this is moving. Although that might just partially be because it's a Holmes, and I set the bar very low when it comes to what I expect out of a Holmes product. On high, we have 0.42 the amps, 26 the watts with a power factor of 0.54. So being that this is a C-frame sheeted pole motor product, the efficiency is atrocious. And for 0.4 amps you could get a 12-inch fan that pushes way more air and maybe only uses 0.3 or 0.35. We're finally starting to see more fans come with PSC motors. It's just baffling to me that in today's efficiency-obsessed world, fans are still allowed to be sold with these highly inefficient motors. I just don't understand that. The oscillation is very fast. You could probably also get a 12-inch fan that moves more air with less power and also makes a lot less noise. Also surprising, the blade is in pretty much perfect balance. I can't really detect any vibration from the blade, which is really kind of a miracle in today's world. Out of balance fan blade seems to plague almost every fan made today, but this is just in perfect balance. That is astonishing to me. Definitely very loud, but it does perform reasonably well. I think for $25 it's a bit of a rip-off, because you can get other models that are similar, like the Honeywell Turbo fan, very similar size and form factor. Actually, the form factor is a bit different because it doesn't oscillate, but similar size fan, much quieter, moves about the same amount of air with less noise. And those are about $17. So you're paying $8 to $10 more to get an oscillating fan, which for something this size, I really don't see a use case where the oscillating is going to be all that beneficial. It's not like you're going to be cooling a whole room or big area with this thing, but it's not bad if you like earplugs and you don't mind using hearing protection with the fan. It moves a decent amount of air, and now some people Some people like noisy fans. I guess if you're in that group, then this would be great. I don't like loud fans, so to me this is a bit obnoxious, but it's notable that a Holmes product actually moves decent air.